introduce Mark. We are good.
Are they capturing you live? No, he's over talking to the other one. Seems like they're capturing people live.
Good afternoon. Lira district.
Are we okay?
So I'm going to talk about the background of Lira district. Lira district local government was created in 1974 and is located in Lango sub-region in northern Uganda and is bordered by the districts Pada and Otuke in the north and northeast, Alebtong in the east, Dokolo in the south, and Apak in the west. It is one of the districts that suffered the wrath of the Lord's Resistance Army insurgency, which resulted into an influx of people from other districts. The main spoken language in Lira is Lango, and the ethnic group is Langi. The district of Lira from the city, Kampala, is 375 kilometers via Karuma, Kamdini, and it covers a land area of 1,154 kilometers squared. It lies between latitude 1,021 degrees north, 2,042 degrees north, longitude 32, okay, the figures are there, east. It receives convectional rainfall between 1,200 to 1,600 millimeters. Its temperatures of 22.50 degrees Celsius and 25.50 degrees Celsius respectively, but it hardly goes beyond 362 degrees Celsius, falling below 200 degrees Celsius. The people in Lira majorly grow crops, sunflower and soya beans. Okay, it's Lira's vision, Lira District Local Government's vision is to have a democratic, prosperous society in a sustainable environment. Its mission statement is to build and maintain a democratic, prosperous society in a sustainable environment. Okay, administrative and local government units. Lira district has got one county, Otuke, and one Lira municipal council. 9 sub-counties, such as Adekokok, Agali, Agweng, Amach, Ngeta, and 4 divisions of Agel. Lira Central Division, Ojwina, and railways. 63 parishes, like Amuka, Anai, Mito, and Baapo, and 20 wards. 678 villages and 64 cells.
Cells? Like what? Prisons. Prisons. You guys are going.
Good afternoon, class. I'm going to talk about the population of Lira. The population density of Lira is 314 persons per kilometer squared, and an average household size of 4.7 of households, that figure, with most homes being headed by men through their work. Through there are women-headed households and children-headed households as well. In 2011, the population of Lira was estimated to be that, and now is projected to be that figure, with the annual population growth rate of 3.6%. Male, we have got those figures. Females, that women from 15 years to 49 years, we have got those figures. Then adolescents, then the youth, children, then old people. The annual population growth rate in Lira is 3.6, with a population below poverty line of 50%. District leadership. The district council, which consists of the supreme organ of the district, It also involves executive and legislative power. It comprises of 27 members, female males and 12 females. It is presided over by the district speaker. It sits at least every 2 months. Yes, let someone else come.
Yes, good afternoon, class. I'm going to take you through the district technical leadership. The head of district public service is headed by Mr. Solomon Sonko. And then Stephen Lokope heads the principal assistant secretary. The chief finance officer is headed by Mr. Ebonga Geoffrey. Then the assistant health administrative officer is Linian Eyal. District chairperson and secretary of finance is Honorable Alex Oremo Alot. The district vice chairperson and secretary for health and education is Honorable Andrew Ogwang Oryang. The district speaker of Lira is Honorable Martin Ocheno Diek. Then the deputy speaker is Honorable Betty Akulu. The secretary of works and technical services is Okelo Ayo. The secretary for community-based services is Jennifer Oleko, all the CDOs, that is the community district officers. Then senior district planner is Mr. Omo Henry. The district education officer is Mr. George Milton Abua. Secretary for production and natural resources is Ojuka Anthony. District executive committee is headed by 4 people, and the names are Opio Rashid, Santa Angela, the Rita Echil, then Oita Call for finance. Representatives of the office of the president are Mr. Odong George, then Mr. Lutumoy. District production and marketing officer is Dr. Okri Wilson. The district engineer is Richard Enen. The community development officer is Christine Anono. I hope you all get that. Then natural resources officer is Fabia Sotike. The district executive committee is like the district council. You guys all understand what the council is. Yes. It manages the day-to-day political matters of the district on behalf of the district council with executive powers. Like you remember the people I talked about. Then let's go to the standing committees. These monitor the performance of the district executive committee and technical departments on behalf of the district council. And these include the finance and administration, education and health, production and natural resources, works and technical services. These include like the roads, and then putting the pavements and all that stuff. The major sectors in Lira are, well, let's start with the education sector. The education sector in Lira consists of 6 technical institutions, 3 universities. Let's give an example of Lira University, Uganda Matters, and then we have All Saints University. There are 25 secondary schools. We won't break them down because there are so many. And then we have 114 primary schools. All of you know that children need to be educated. So there is need for more schools in that district. So we have 57 preschools. This can be like the kindergarten and the nursery schools. You all underwent that. The education sector in Lira is divided into 3 sectors. That is the inspectorate headed by the inspector of schools. You all know what the inspectors do at schools, right? The hygiene, food, shelter, all that. Okay, then sports headed by the district sports officer, cross country. All of you used to do that.
No.
Thank you. Administration headed by the district education officer. Thank you. Someone else will take it. Okay, let's head to the agriculture sector. There were implementation of tractors, that's under technology. Tractors are help the farmers to ease their work. Then there was the plants for cassava and machines for processing cassava into flour. Like people in Lira grow cassava, and then at the end, they turn the cassava after the harvest into flour. The flour can be used for food, you all know that. Then the health sector is funding. The health sector has the hospital, which is Lira Regional Referral Hospital, and then they have been provided with screening cancer machines to help the cancer patients. And then the hepatitis B machines are also provided in the district. Someone else is taking it from here.
Good afternoon. We have the sources of revenue. Lira generates its revenue locally, nationally, and internationally. So I'm going to give the locally part. We have license. License, like that, this license is collected among the businesses. They move shop by shop collecting the license. Then the exercise duty. This duty is collected like in the country. For example, like the cigarettes. Then the local service tax. We have the ground rent. Like for example, in Lira, the ground rent is collected like when you construct like a house. This rent is collected. We have the premium, i.e. permission to be allowed to construct a house, permission to be allowed to construct a house. When you, like in Lira, when you've got a plot and you want to construct a house, you have to first get permission before constructing a house. Then the tariffs, i.e. they're used for roads. Then naturally, urban generated revenue. We have the Local Government Act, produce exit. We have the produce entry, the hotel tax, the casual brews and motormots, the spirituals link, we have the plan approval fees, we have the driving licenses, the grants given to the government. Then internationally, we have the grants, Islamic Development Bank, the American government, all governments from outside world.
All of them.
Thank you.
Don't tell me you're concluding. You're concluding?
Good afternoon, everyone. I think you can take us previously to the previous slides.
They are done.
I just want to go through it all because I had some of you were, wondering some of the taxes that she was giving. So I want to throw more light on them so that you get to understand them. Locally. Sources of revenue. We have the licenses. Those ones are particularly, they are removed from the businesses. In case you're coming up with a business and you want to, construct an industry, maybe you have to get licensed before that project or organization starts operating. And then we have the ground rate. For that, it's almost the same as for a business to stand and be in place to exist on a particular ground or location. Of course, you have to pay some money for it. And then the premium, i.e. the permission to be allowed to construct a house in case you're building in a place where you've not been, you're not a native. You give something. And then the tariffs on the roads. Then, next. Urban generated revenues. Mostly these ones are from the urban places. Giving an example of a parks where they get some money from, in case you're parking your car on a street, they get to, for you, you have to pay some money for it. Then the produce exit. These ones are mostly on products that are produced by various industries. And then the produce entry, the imports, that come in within our country, they are taxed, so they also get some on it. Then the hotel tax. the hotels that exist in our country. They get to pay some money. The casual brewers and motomotos, they were talking about the casually, locally made bruises in the environment. These ones that they just boil and you get. Yes, then the spirituous liquors, these fall in the cultural practices. So in case, before you carry out a cultural practice, you are required to pay some tax for it. And then the plan approval fees, then driving licenses, grants. Next. The grants, we all understand when they talk about the grants. Yeah, I think this is more self-explanatory. So I was going to talk about the achievements of Lira district. And one of the achievements is construction of modern toilets in healthy centers. As we earlier talked about our district being affected with some of the National Resistance Army incident that happened some time back. Most of the healthy services, healthy centers have been suffering with that, a shortage of toilets, and the government, the local government has gone ahead to provide some. For example, in Outlay district, the government has been able to put some, and then a buyer, and then establishment of a stadium that has been started on. It is still still ongoing because it is very big, and it has not yet been completed, but it is one of the stadiums that they're using to promote the skills, the talents of the young livelihood, the young people, the youths. So it is one of their achievements according to their 5-year plan. And then the road equipments in terms of graders, excavators, water, rollers, workers, all of them. And when you're to read, it was, I think, in a new vision. It was on 6th of November 2017. They were launching a road construction project. Since they were provided with the equipment that help them to improve on their transport roads, they were able to do that, and per now they've constructed more roads. And then more schools have been established by the government. 93 government-aided primary schools exist now. And then I'm also talking about the challenges in implementation of the budget. There is increasing operational costs. Here comes in when they've already stipulated the budget and they've put it in place. You may find that the estimated amounts of income, the estimated amounts of money that have been placed on certain activities go on increasing. This is because of the changing of the money value. You find that there have been increase on the operation cost. They have to put in more money for them to attain the activity that they want to be done because of the increasing, the lowering of the value of our money. You all understand that our money keeps on losing value day by day. Are we together? And then the non-remittance of some funds, especially donor funds, when they're implementing the activities that they've budgeted for, there have been a delay in the giving funds by the government. This is because when you talk about non-remittance of some funds, there has been failure of paying back the loans that we've been getting from other countries. Our government has found a challenge in that, and within that, the lower people, we suffer the consequences, and it has been very hard for our leaders to put in place what they are supposed to do. And then the poor estimation of contract value due to the increasing input costs. This comes in when they've estimated in terms of dollar currencies or USD currencies. The dollar keeps on changing. Those currencies keep on changing. And in case they calculate their estimations, on a certain fixed cost of the dollars, and they change, they will require to incur more costs, which has not been stipulated on the budget. And then inadequate monitoring and supervision, and ultimately public accountability at all levels. This comes in, downwards. Most of the times because they have low staff, there is low staff. You may find that in an office there is only one person, I mean, who is running all the activities that are supposed to be held by the other people. So with this, there has been inadequate monitoring, supervision, because this person is required to run an activity at a certain point of time and also has to do something else, which is not enabling them and favoring them to do supervision and monitoring in various areas. And then they're having delaying start of procurement process. This comes in because of a lot of bureaucracy. I mean, there are a lot of processes that are supposed to be followed before the money is being granted to the local government, the lower personnel, I mean the lower leaders, to do what they're supposed to do. So with this, the processes, I mean, the implementation of the budget has been a challenge. And then realities of climate, I think this is self-explanatory. Thank you.
Plans. Strategy is like a plan.
Good afternoon. I'm going to take you through the legal framework. And of course, these are the main components of the legal framework that you would get. We have, first of all, identification of priority. We have the Local Government Act. Of course, the financial implementation. We have the financial and accounting regulations, the standard rule of procedure, and then the Procurement and Disposal Act, 2015. Okay, I'm going to read through the legal framework for Lira, local government, and then it says that preparation of the budget framework paper, that is the BFP, fulfills the legal requirement by the district local council as provided for in the Local Government Act, Cap 243, Section 35, in bracket 3. And Regulation 17 and 18 of the Local Government Finance and Accounting Regulations, 2007, and Section 9 of the Public Finance Management Act, 2015. Okay, now all these acts mandate that the district local government and the accounting officer have to prepare the budgets and plans for the district. And of course, Lira takes part in this. Lira does what the act requires of it to do. Lira District Local Government thus recognizes the great importance attached to the production of the budget framework paper, which guides the budget process. It identifies the key priority areas of the second National Development Plan, that is the NDDP, NDP 2, and that of the second Lira District Development Plan, DDP 2. Now, I'm taking you through the budget process. I'm sorry it is too long, but I'm taking you through it so that you could understand it better. This is how budget in Lira District local government is generated. First of all, the budget planning process in Lira District follows a bottom-up approach, which involves starting from the village level, the village level to the district or municipality level, as discussed below. The first step is the various villages organize meetings. We call them the parish planning meetings. According to different parishes, they have a lot that they have to speak about, so they organize these meetings where they generate a priority list. They call this list the wish list. So in this list, they will contain all that they need. And then the priorities are picked from this wish list. Of course, people always bring ideas. They bring a lot of needs. They have a lot to say about. They have a lot of things that they want in place. But out of these many things in the wish list, they have to pick at least those ones that they can prioritize on. Of course, the government can't bring all the money at the same time. This list contains all the priorities they need. At this level, the process is spearheaded by the Parish Development Committee under the direct supervision of the Community Development Officer in every sub-county. Now, when these priorities are taken to the, from the villages, the priorities are taken, okay, their priority plans are taken to the sub-county. The sub-county then integrates them into the division or parish development plan, which is a 5-year development plan. The sub-county officials then sit and prioritize on the needs. Now, when the villages take their priority plan to the sub-county, like I said, it follows a bottom-up approach. So when the villages take their priority list to the sub-county, even at the sub-county level, they have those things that they feel are of value than the others. So they have to pick which they really want, and they leave the rest for another time. So after they are finished to prioritize, like I said, the sub-county officials sit and prioritize on the needs that they want. Then this plan of the sub-county is taken and integrated into the district or municipal development plan, whereby the municipality also prioritizes before it is integrated into the national development plan. Now, at this level, the budget is handled by majorly 3 technical people. I mean, consultations are made at this level on basically these 3. I know there are some other people that may need to consult, but basically it is first to start with these 3 people, which is to say the physical planner. In Lira, the fiscal planner is called Mr. Omara Godfrey. There is a senior planner who is called Mr. Omo Endry, and then the district statistician, Mr. Okelo Aindi Dennis. And then the last part in the budget the budget generation is after priorities are identified at the district level, the district development plan is then integrated into the national development plan. After it has gone to the national, which is of course the government where we need to get the funds. This is in order to tap financial resources from the central government. It's not the general central government, specifically the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development. That is when the money comes back to us and we put it in place. I would like to hand that mic to someone.
Senior order. Especially on this, to pay very critical attention.
Yes,
Things are really broken down on something.
I'm telling you.
So I'll give you an examination and this is going to work.
But then they're going to pass.
Pay very good attention to this, especially I'm seeing they are really so proceed.
Good evening, everyone. I'm taking you through the factors considered when generating a budget in Lira district. First of all, the first look at population index. Before planning for anything, you have to first consider the population you're dealing with. So as the population increases, the budget plan also widens, and therefore calling for more government concern. Where the population is large, you have to demand for more. Hence, you have to allow the country for the demands you have. If the population is low, then you also demand your priorities accordingly. Then you have the second factor is poverty level. On poverty level, this is an economic measure. It's not there. Poverty level is an economic measure that is used to decide whether the income level for an individual or family qualifies them for a certain federal or benefits and programs. In a district, not everyone in a district have equal abilities of accessing some things. For instance, some families have higher incomes compared to certain families. So you have to first look at the poverty level. After understanding what poverty level is, both the government and the district planners put more focus on communities where people live below the poverty line, such that there exists no development imbalances in the district. Our third factor is financial outlay. We have to first understand what financial is, then outlay. And financial,
on financial, you have to understand the accountability, the accountability of the priorities you're going to look to, you're going to consider. For instance, maybe one of your priorities in a district is a load. You want a load, then you have to know, is that load going to be worth it? Then on outlay is the cost you're going to invest in. On the outlay is the cost or the things you're going to put in when you're considering the factor you want. Then financial outlay, this is done to establish the cost of setting up a project. For example, creating a swamp. Then marketability, our fourth factor. This is considered to find out if the project budgeted for is marketable or not. Marketability means the ability of a community to be sold or marketed. Therefore, if the municipality is lobbying for funds for a particular project, the project should be worth it. The project should be worth it in that if your priority of a certain project, maybe your project is to invest in tea growing, your project should be in position to help you get more funds in future after the government has helped you get funds maybe for the project you wanted in your priorities. Then that project that you're working on should help you further in future get more funds, like loans maybe to invest in other projects. Then our last factor considered in generating a budget is gestation period. This is to establish whether people are going to benefit from the project within the set time or not. Thank you.
Oh. The last animal.
Reverend.
Church elder.
Why are you calling the other?
You need to be careful of what, when I say something is very interesting, you need to focus. Yes. You will come.
It's okay.
Louder. Put it closer.
The microphone is yours.
One is massive sensitization in respect to revenue administration, registration, enumeration, assessment.
It is on.
Okay, here, most of us don't know why we pay taxes, right?
No.
So it's better, or it's advisable that we reach out to the public, in this case, Lira. They reach out to the public, they tell them, they give them the brief background of why we pay taxes and what are they going to use the money for. So through here, they will go around, because the district is so large, so like Winnie said, they will move around announcing, let me say on 30th November, we are going to meet at the district square, and we tell you what we use the money for. So that when you ask them to pay taxes, they actually know where the money is going and why they're paying the taxes. Then it's trying to organize talk shows and business meetings to be regularly held up to uphold the taxpayers on what the council is doing. Apart from just collecting the money from the people, once in a while, let me say after 3 months, they should talk. Like maybe this is not the same as the mass sensitization. Here now people have known. But then you have to tell them, where's the money gone? Like we talked of the machines they brought to the hospital, the Lira referral hospital. That's where that comes in. You have to tell people, yes, we collected this money and we've so far done this, we're hoping to do something else. Then ensuring involvement of the community leaders and politicians during enumeration and registration of the taxpayers' businesses. Community leaders, most cases we think the LCs, we just go there to complain, or we need some forms, but then they also need to tell people, like, they need to talk to the people about why they pay taxes. They have to encourage them, have to move door to door telling them. Then lastly, other than putting these strategies, we also have to maintain like the sources already, the money we've already collected. How? Enforce the laws. I mean,
sometimes we have these parks, the billboards, the what, but then if you don't enforce what is being done, people give up on paying the taxes. My friend should give an overview and then.
And also to highlight us with those questions.
Good afternoon. So I'm going to conclude because my colleagues talked about everything. So Lira gets its funding locally, nationally, and internationally. And you saw how the budgeting process follows a bottom-up approach. That's from down to up, from village to district. A wish list which contains priorities and needs of the people in Lira is drawn from various village meetings. And basically, the Lira district budget is spearheaded by the Parish Development Committee. Yeah, you also saw that during the formulation of the budget, there are various challenges. My colleagues discussed them. And then we also came up with some questions from, so our first question was, why is it important for the district and the central government to generate a budget? The government of Uganda and the public sector have endeavored to deliver services to the people in different districts. Using a case study of any district, give reasons as to why there is still a problem of shortages, even after the budgets have been clearly formulated. And then, in your own opinion, what do you suggest as the factors to be considered while generating a budget? I think our discussion has been able to give you these answers to all these questions. Thank you.
I think by far, we have covered almost 99% of the groups. We're only left with one group, and that is Mukono.